Yes, my name is Magnus Jones. I am the Nordic blockchain and innovation lead at EY. What I normally say, the boring auditing company that also do fun stuff. So we play around with everything from, call it, the tax and legal side of emerging tech towards fraud forensic investigations, audit, accounting, bookkeeping, how to interpret that one, put it into action, towards actually doing technical implementations and execution. So we're working with everything from the smallest players, 1-2 persons in a startup, towards small, medium, large entities, towards assisting some of the world's largest brands on their Web3 journeys. So it's a wide perspective, including also assisting governments.
Indeed. Okay, and we're here in Bergen.
Well, we're here for, of course, supporting our clients who is here, meeting new friends, and also being an active contributor to the landscape in general. So we have contributed on quite a few sessions here already. So it's also that I have a background from when Finance Innovation, the organizers of the conference here, also started the whole thing many years ago, where I've been acting as a mentor. So I'm a bit biased in some matter, but still I think they've done a great job here. Yes, yesterday was about Metaverse, among others how we have assisted Norwegian, both tax authorities and the business register office on creating world's first sole matter office in the Metaverse, and focusing there more on, call it, the real use case side for why they are doing it, not looking yourself blind in terms of numbers of users or whatever, which is very easy to see in these matters, but look behind and see, well, why are they there? Because, yeah, they want to understand these technologies. They want to understand the mechanisms of the platforms they are. When they are at the decentralized autonomous organization platform, which appears to have no persons responsible, and we see more and more companies coming up with these type of platforms, well, then Norwegian government also wants to be there to understand, to get the experience. So it's definitely not about reaching 1 million or 2 million or whatever it is for Norwegian taxpayers' purpose, but rather get the internal learning also, so we can grow from that perspective internally and see, hey, should Norway do as Wyoming, Marshall Islands, Utah, other jurisdictions who has allowed these type of registrations for these type of entities, and make a verdict around that one. So it's also for internal learning purposes to get used to sort of using the token economy, i.e. tax officers, public officers who is downloading these wallet structures, get the feel, touch of feel, and see how hard, easy it is, and see how the entrepreneurs, the builders, the ones who is building this landscape is actually dealing with it. So we see Metaverse as something more than just the gamified platforms that we see out there, a pink, colorful world. Like I say, you know, you have the color palettes of Miami Vice that meets the graphics of your Nokia phone from 1997 when you played the Snake game. That's sort of the side of what people in general and the media perceives it as, while we rather see it as a mix of 3 pillars of XR, extended reality, AI, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. And you don't have to combine all of them, but if you look into all the sub-segments that is underneath there, there's quite a lot of different interesting subcategories. Some will disappear, new will come in, but still I think we can agree that in the future we will go from a 2-dimensional world to a 3-dimensional world in one way or the other, and how many parts from the XR side you are using of how we see here, visualize it, or how many parts of you use from the AI of its facial recognition, or if you use ChatGPT-4 like we do on our avatars, train them for 2 days, they speak perfectly well about EY, testing these type of things, or on the blockchain side, using NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, for something more than a volatile value, but to prove the ownership of virtual t-shirts, or like I have my own EY clothing that proves that I'm an EY employee. If I quit EY has a function that they can actually burn, i.e. delete the token, so I cannot misuse it. So thereby we use it for also technical purposes also. So I think it's about understanding how you can combine or not combine, all depending on what is your product, what is your services, what is the fit, and also how large proportion of your current customers you're trying to reach. Like, for example, Adidas is not saying, oh, all our millions of customers all over are now going to wear virtual shoes. They're addressing 10 to 20,000 people. So we also have to have that realistic picture, but rather see how all of these, call it emerging technologies that has actually been around for quite a while, is going to affect us in the future. So we see it as a much broader perspective of how I mentioned as an example yesterday also how Interpol, for example, has created their own metaverse for training, learning purposes, or that you have companies who is using this one for just making a digital twin of their production area to see efficiency, to simulate crisis, to whatnot that can happen there. So there's definitely lots of different areas around using three-dimensional technology combined with XR and also the AI and the blockchain part. It's like all trends, you know, they come up with a boom and everyone's supposed to be there. No one actually understands what it's about. And then, of course, it's a natural interest because you don't fully see it. But like I showcased here yesterday, just looking into a Decentraland, which I can say is not a user-friendly metaverse. It takes you 3.5 minutes to log in the process. It's horrible graphics, low loading time, etc. But still in there, it's 20 banks. And it gives you perspective that, well, like I said, is it only idiots in there who has no clue what they're doing? Or do you foresee that some of these players are also doing something on the back-end side? And I think that's more interesting. Of course, we see some players who's in there who has no clue. They look over their shoulder and say, oh, competitor A, B, and C, and the KLMNP is doing it. Heck, we have to do it. But the majority of our impression from assisting several of them is that they have a strategy. The strategy varies a lot from everything. You can go in there to actually meet a case handler and talk to that through an avatar, so they can test and see and get a feel on it. And of course, there's not that much of a waiting time in it as well. So that's just for test purposes. Others are just seeing, hey, in the future, we might be able to offer some kind of virtual digital assets in the context there. Whether or not that might be a privately issued stable coin that is pegged towards a dollar, euro, whatever, a Danish krone or whatnot, or if it's a CBD, so central bank digital currency.
Yeah.
So I think it's about understanding the mechanisms and preparing for something more than call it just a hyped version of the Bitcoin, which is going to be volatile for years to come, but still, if there's a market there, you should prepare right now so you have the time to facilitate and build up everything from AML on the money laundering side to KYC parts and all of these that needs to be in place if you are to succeed on these platforms. So that's also a part that we play a key role in terms of understanding the tax legal side of that. This is not just a place where you play around, but rather you have to understand the implications, what you do, and as long as you have a strategy, we see that you can have great benefits and ROIs if you are not measuring necessarily core revenue income, but rather on other parameters. That's a good one. It's not necessarily easy then because it's so many different variations. I would say it's highly skillful. We have great builders here, but we are lacking capital in general and investment. So I personally see that there's quite a few good cases and brains here, but they are missing out. So I would say then skillful, lack of, or call it missing investment, if I can use more than one word.
Yeah.
And I think we also see that they are seeing the future more in a global way locally, because many parties previously they started out looking just as, call it, a small segment of Norway, while now we have seen more of an international focus. So it's definitely buzzing and evolving.
Yeah, well, those are three great words to describe it.
A little bit more than three, but at least something to describe it. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.